You know what Warhammer 2 could use a lot more of? Atmosphere. And the light of the moon has a lot to offer on that front, so we're using the Ultimate Lighting and Night Battles mod by Maziski, as Heinrich Kemmler's Barrow Legion continues to be a perpetual thorn in the side of Bretonnia. By darkest night do his Black Knights march, under the spooky glow of Manflip, which will set the mood nicely in a battle of Unholy Blood and Holy Grail. Aerocrastic will once again be commanding the forces of Bordello, and I am playing as the coolest undead subfaction ever, led by your boy Heinrich Kemmler, a true lore-friendly rivalry, the cackling mad grandpa who made it all possible. He can summon Skeletor, Lord of Undeath. He has his Cloak of Mist and Shadows, and the Chaos Tomb Blade for great regen, and that melee attack aura. So we're going for a build with a lot of mass and mobility, which are two very useful traits to have when facing down Monty Python's Rohirrim. Crypt Horrors are great as long as you don't let them get charged or shot up by archers, which is easier said than done, but they have poison, which will be very useful for mitigating the damage output of his Grail Knights, and we've got 4 units of Heavy Knights ourselves. 2 Blood Knights and 2 Black Knights, including Varghulf Reavers with their innate regen. Across this barren landscape, though, march the forces of Bretonnia, and you can guess what Arrow is doing here. The heaviest of heavy cab builds, a glorious group of Grail Knights, 3 of them, and the companions of Krell with some Knights Errant in the back. So he's investing a ton in winning the cavalry fight, and he should. Because if you can win that, you're free to cycle charge the undead with impunity, which rarely works out well for the Skelly Boys. Damsel with Shield of Thorns and Earthblood, a lot of peasants, and Albrecht de Bordello, this time on horseback with Heroic Killing Blow and the Trident of Banan, which is particularly brutal against the undead because they have low base leadership. It lowers leadership by, I believe, 16, so they will start unbinding pretty quick with a good cast from that bad boy. Things are going to get underway real quickly here. No reason to sit back for either side, and it might look like on paper that I have a cavalry disadvantage, but there are 2 secret weapons in this fight against Grail Knights. Krell is a big factor for sure. If you can raise him up in the spot where Bretonnia is fully committed, he can do work, but the Varghulf is the other wild card, and it is an amazing tool for helping to turn a cav engagement in your favor. Roll him deep with the squadron of Blood Knights, and the Fat Bat is a force multiplier for sure. Now, Arrow is going to do what a lot of good players do in the situation, and he's going to put a ton of pressure on my center, and this does a couple things. For one, you want to get rid of the chaff so you can get into the meatier, squishier targets in the center. You don't want to deal with the zombies, you don't want them blocking your charges, so if you can just get rid of them before the melee engagement even begins, then you're going to be in pretty good shape anyway. But what this does is force me to respond with units like Crypt Horrors and my cavalry, particularly the Crypt Horrors. So once they commit and try to poison the cav and slow them down so that my knights can catch up, the archers will switch target priority and focus fire on them. And if you can get rid of the Crypt Horrors early, you're going to be in a really good position to take this battlefield because they won't have anything to support in the infantry grind, and skeleton spearmen aren't exactly great for chopping their way through Bretonnian hordes. So the shambling zombie tide got punished pretty bad, and I can't really say I gained any tactical benefit out of it because Grail Knights have perfect vigor, so the zombies aren't even doing their one job, which is making enemies tired. But this is going to be important. The Grail Knights getting maybe a bit too cute, charging unbraced spears, but they're fully committed now, and my knights on the left flank are all too happy to embrace them straight from the grave. You can see Arrow really wants to get away, and he's using this opportunity to drop the Trident of Banan, but he can't quite pull out in time, and I see it too late as well. And look what that spell is going to do to my cav. Took Blood Knights down by a third, took Varghulf Reavers down past half their health, while also destroying their leadership. But he lost a Grail Knight for it, and I have quite a few ways to heal as well, so honestly, I'm okay with that trade. There's a constant battle of cycle charging, with the peasants stuck in the middle of a rather unpleasant sandwich, and the Fat Bat not going to make the situation any more palatable. Am I crazy, or does the moon seriously make Vampire Counts battles look so much more awesome? Pretty sexy, I must say. Meanwhile, the chaff are beating the brakes off each other, and Grail Knights are continuing to slam home into the Walking Dead. Skeletons are going to trade okay against Men-at-Arms, but Men-at-Arms should probably win that. And the cav fight seems to be going okay for Arrow at the moment, so I gotta be careful. And you can see I left my Crypt Horrors back precisely because I knew Arrow would try to bait them in and shoot them to death, and so good and tasty. Talk about value. Invocation of the Heck on Crypt Horrors, Blood Knights, and Varghulf Reavers. You can't really ask for a better heal. They'll be ready to head back into the meat grinder very soon. Now you might notice, but his archers are too far forward, and the big reason for that is because I left my Cryptors back. He wanted to shoot them really bad. He's noticing it. He's pulling away. He's using the cavalry to support them as they retreat. Varghulf pushing forward, but I don't want to overextend, and one way to zone them out a little bit better, summon some more zombies, man. That's what necromancers are all about. The cavalry's pushing straight through the men-at-arms, and they're having a whale of a time on my right flank right now. But my left flank crumbled pretty quick. I actually kind of rolled that backwards on purpose after that nice try to Manon from Arrow. Got that great invocation hack off, and look, I'm baiting Kemmler hard. I'm saying, oh no, he's so squishy. Please, Cloak of Mist and Shadows will be useless surrounded by Grail Knights. But no, countercharge from various Reavers and Blood Knights. Cryptors imbuing poison on a huge section of Pompous Horse Lords. Then Krell joins the party. Meow! And Krell's gonna have a grand old time in this fight for 70 weapon strength and bonus versus large. And these knights are fully committed. They are not going to be able to escape from that situation without taking horrible losses. On this side, Shield of Thorns and Overcast Earthblood to keep his Grail Knights in the fight. But this was just a perfect bait, if I do toot my own horn here. Like, I made him come in. I said, come get Kemmler, man. You know you want to kill him. Albrecht took that bait. The Companions and the Grail Knights took that bait. And now we've got Poison, we've got Krell, we've got Heavy Cav, and got some great support in there too. The Tomb Blade will help a lot. Varghulf beating up on some Knights Errant on the other flank, but the focus fire from the Poison Archers is not making things super fun for him, and he doesn't absorb arrow fire very well. Now, a lot of this is going to be up to Krell. Lord of Undeath, Skeletor, yeah, shame, yeah. And every time he swings that black axe, multiple companions dropping like bad habits. They're trying to retreat, but that'll leave Albrecht on an island, and he's in a bad spot. He's down to half HP and might rout soon. Grail Knights going back into the engagement, though. Grail Knights on this side are faring a lot better. They've gotten more heals, they've gotten more physical resistance, and Grail Knights with Shield of Thorns are pretty scary. But yeah, the engagement on this side got absolutely crushed. Albrecht got walloped, and he's running while Kemmler chases him. Don't know if he's going to be able to catch up. We'll see what happens on that side. But Cryptors and the Black Knights are pushing through, engaging the Grail Knights now. The infantry for Bretonnia has crumbled, and it's definitely looking pretty advantageous, at least on this side, for the forces of the Barrow Legion. Grail Knights are going to fight a running retreat backwards. They gotta get some more cycle charging in. These ones are completely inundated, swarmed by the Knights of Bloodkeep, and the Order of the Blood Dragon are gonna have a great time with the Varghulf helping out from behind. Couple punches from the Gorilla, and the Silverback gonna take him down real quick. That's a rout incoming, and those Heavy Cav are dead. There are some bastions of support for Bretonnia, but they've lost a lot of Heavy Cav. More are cycle charging in now. That was a brutal charge on the Cryptors, my god. Dropped them at least a third of their HP immediately off impact, and it's gonna get even worse as those Cryptors start crumbling out. Albrecht did manage to escape, but the Lord of Undeath is back in the fight, and now he's beaten up on the infantry in each swing. Gonna decapitate many peasants. But the Cryptors have something to say too, and they're gonna yam some Bretonians like Dr. J. Julius Irving. Oh my god, that was disgusting. Oh my god, his head was just left there in the ground. He slammed him so hard into the ground his head flew off. That is pretty nasty. Filthy stuff from the vampire accounts, but that's Warhammer for you. Grail Knights coming in from behind. Nice charge, but they're now in a horrible spot because they're going to get sandwiched from Blood Knights on both sides. Varghulf in there too. And Bretonnia is quickly losing any win condition they might have had. They still have a few tools here and there. The peasants have been kept alive very well. They're still focus firing on the Varghulf, but Invocation of the Hex and the heals from the Tomb Blade and all that. I mean, his peasants don't have anything to protect them anymore, and now the Knights just have free reign to charge in. There has been good focus fire from these Poison Archers on the Cryptors, on the Varghulf. Krell still in there, still rocking that badass Mohawk, and the double horns and the black axe of Krell, sending shards of malevolent energy into the bloodstreams of his opponents. Another title call coming in from the Trident of Manon. Albrecht's still alive somehow. Krell just crumbled out of existence, and Cryptors are shutting down this entire flank by themselves. Yeah, they're gonna desperately try to salvage whatever they can out of the situation. Barring some kind of miracle, Bretonnia is not gonna be able to get back into this game, and it's because all their Grail Knights are dead. So as Manslib looks on from above, don't know where Morslib is, don't know where the Chaos Moon is. Would be nice to have that second green moon up there. But man, the glow from that, the night battles, they look so sexy. We're using this mod more often for sure. Kemmler dropping some more zombie summons, and that's going to pretty much put the nail in the coffin for the forces of Bordello. And it really came down to the heavy cav play, the Krell summon, and the Varghulf. Now, I would say that Arrow did have the cavalry advantage, but that's kind of a misnomer in a way, because you're not really just talking about the cav here. You're also talking about the monster play in. Both Cryptors and Varghulfs are amazing in cav fights as long as you don't let them get surrounded or charged. And in this case, neither of those things happen. So what Arrow wanted to do was focus fire on the Cryptors and get rid of them early, put them in their own control group, move them backwards. That forced the peasant archers to over-pursue a little bit and get a little bit too close to that front line. And even though he dropped that amazing Trident of Manon on my left flank, and it really just completely butchered my various Reavers, there's a very cool spell called Invocation of the Heck. That's an AoE heal, and as soon as I retreated, able to get them back into a relatively healthy position and go right back in. The Blood Knights were amazing. 2 and 3 chevrons, both over 150 kills. They just mulch stuff for sure, but the Varghulf helped them out tremendously. It makes it so much easier to take a cav fight with Grail Knights if you have that kind of support. And the Fat Bat is super good in that situation. And I really like Kemmler here. Having that Barded Warhorse, giving him that mount that gives him some extra mobility so he can summon zombies in the right spot, so he can summon Krell in the right spot. Completely changed the game for him. Krell is a game changer in a cav fight where Grail Knights are forced to commit, where they aren't allowed to retreat, where Krell can just stay in the pocket and smack him around with the Black Axe. And he got a ton of kills from there, a lot of high value kills. Really fun to see him go to work. Really fun to see Skeletor in action. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.